I only know because the song at the end goes Tortoro. Anyway,
Can we hear that again?
but no.
Okay.
I'm sure you got it on recording. You can do whatever you want with it. Tortoro, 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 Tortoro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Matt Smith. We hope you enjoyed today's movie discussion. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the BTB Movie Club. My name is Tim Larson. We are here to discuss movie number 239. This is still part of the contest. We do not know who picked this movie, but we will take a guess. It is 1988's anime feature My Neighbor Totoro. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Um, there is a director and a writer, I'm sure, but I didn't look that stuff up. Well, here's the thing. Our buddy Wilden is supposed to run this conversation and ask people what they thought about the movie, but he couldn't be here today. And a couple weeks ago, Dan was supposed to lead his conversation for the movie RRR, and he wasn't here, so somebody took over for him. So, Dan Sears, though you have not seen this movie, please take it away and let's have you lead this conversation for My Neighbor Totoro. And as a special feature, it'd be nice if you asked some kind of special question about setting or cinematography or music or theme. If you could just mix it up and throw a couple of those in there on the spot, I think we'd all appreciate it. Dan,
Sure.
the
Okay.
conversation is yours.
I know there was some debate about the name, so I'm going with my neighbor Totoro. Don't know if that's
Totoro.
correct or not. I see Matt shaking his head. No.
I'm laughing at Hilty.
Is it Totoro?
It's Totoro.
Totoro.
You
Totoro.
Larsons and your pronunciation.
Sorry
Oh
about
Totoro.
that.
God.
Totoro. Okay. Got it. All right. So we'll begin this conversation here with Matt. What'd you think of my neighbor Totoro?
That's closer. That was good.
Hey.
I only know because the song at the end goes Totoro. Anyway,
Can we hear that again?
but no.
Okay.
I'm sure you got it on recording. You can do whatever you want with it. Um, so funny, like it's funny to me because I picked Spirited Away,
Spirited Away. Yep.
and which is same studio, same director. And this was actually on my list of like maybe possibly picking this as that pick. And I'm kind of glad I didn't. Um,
Hmm.
Not that this was bad. I liked the movie. I think it's a fun little fantasy, lighthearted kind of thing. Um, it just there was really no plot. I mean, there
Right.
was, like there
Right.
was it was these two girls and they move and I get it, their mom's sick and and part of me is I'm trying to build in my head like is this, this is their coping mechanism for their mom being sick or whatever. I don't know what the theme or the message is supposed to be here. It was just sort of like, yeah, there's these creatures and nature and this cat bus with spider legs and wild psychedelic, experiences. Um, it was fine. I'm glad I watched it, but I would not call it the best. Did we ever, Hilti, you can correct me, Ghibli? Did we fear the Ghibli?
Ghibli.
Ghibli, sorry. The Ghibli is not the best Ghibli studio movie we've watched because I think Spirited Away was better. Now that's selfish of me because I picked Spirited Away, but yeah, it was fine. So the only thing I regret, because this might have changed a little bit in my opinion, I did not have time to watch both versions. So I usually like to watch the English dub and subtitles, like just to see the difference. That's what I did. I don't know if you guys remember, I picked Akira a long time ago, and that was a great experience. I liked doing that because you pick up the subtitled version, you always pick up more because like the words don't translate directly, um, or into the direct sentence that the people are saying when they dub it. So I wish I would have had a chance to do that because I'm sure I would have caught some more things that I didn't catch just listening to the Fanning sisters um, talk. So I was a little upset about that. I did start the subtitled version just for a few minutes. I thought I had time, and um, the voices are way different than than the English sub or English dub, excuse me. So that was a little bit of a shock to my system, but I didn't have time to finish it. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to say. It's fine. It didn't really have a point in my opinion. It was nice and short. It was fun. I think kids probably would like it. It's got a fuzzy animal in it. The one thing about the actual movie I'd say was I did notice I loved the painted backgrounds. I did not do any research on them, but I assume, like most animation, the background is pretty stationary set, and then they animate the actual, there's animation for the characters, and the backgrounds are kind of set. And I thought they looked very well done, like very well painted, like almost like a I don't know artists, so I won't try to guess, but very stylistic, almost watercolor type backgrounds. I really did appreciate that. And I'm wondering if I noticed that because there wasn't much to notice about the rest of the movie. I almost feel bad saying it. I did like seeing the little black soot things again, because they got a callback in Spirited Away. Um, and yeah, I don't know how much there is to say about it. It was fun, little hour and a half of randomness and the cat with headlight eyes, and I just can't get over it. And then the song at the end, the little Totoro song. I tried to play it over my mic. I don't know if it came across, but Totoro, Totoro. So yeah, that is whoever picked it, good pick. Uh, but again, selfishly, not the best Ghibli studio movie we've watched in this group. So
Okay. So, Matt, what'd you think of the music in the movie? My neighbor Totoro.
it was fine. The end, like I said, the end theme just stuck in my head. My wife happened to catch she watched probably the last half hour with me, and she very much was like, what are we doing here? What is going on? Why are we talking to big fuzzy creatures? What is going on? What is with the cat? Um, and so we were after the movie ended, I was singing the end credits song around the house. My kids were giving me a look. They were giving me a look,
I
which I
think that's
deserved.
fair. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna be honest, it must not have stood out too much because I don't really remember much about it other than it being pretty typical, Japanese studio type music. So,
All right. Okay, thank you for those kind words about the movie. Let's see who's next here. Hilty. Looks like he's ready to go with his thoughts on the movie.
Uh, Seen this before. It's been a while since I've seen this. You could tell that this is early. For Tim earlier, this is Hayao Miyazaki who wrote and directed this.
That's
Like
what I was
he,
going to say. Thank you. I'd look that up, but I'm glad you said it first.
um, so um, it's feels very early because this movie, um, you can't really compare it to a lot of the other ones because this one kind of relies a little bit on cuteness. It kind of feels like it meanders a little bit because you're like, what is happening right now? And the big takeaway that I had rewatching this again is that once you watch more Studio Ghibli movies, you just get a sense that like Miyazaki and just the studio in general, they very much care about the environment. So, the fact that this Totoro is a creature from the forest and just something that kind of embodies just like what the spirit of the forest is. There's definitely a hint of just environmentalism that is captured in this, even though it's a little bit more on the subtle side. Like the dance, the part where they're dancing around the trees, like, yeah, that's pretty obvious that we're celebrating the environment. But Totoro is also just something that embodies like a coping mechanism for these kids to help them get them through this tough situation with their mom. Um, Kind of looking, just kind of doing a little research on the themes, and thematically what this is. Like the big thing that this movie is talking about, it's in essence, everything has like a spirit essence. So every human, every person, every animal, every rock, like everything's got a spirit essence. So that's something that's explored heavily in this. Um, but I'm not exactly sure what it's trying to say about that. It's like, yep, great, everything's got a spirit essence, and I kind of like upon watching this and kind of thinking about it, my big takeaway is like, okay, so what? And that's kind of where I'm at with this. It This was a pretty successful movie at the box office, which I'm glad for that, and it is very well received um, among like lots of other organizations and publications who review animated movies. So I'm glad for that. Kind of in the same boat as Matt Smith. I'm not my favorite. It's still good, but not my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. And I feel like for a lot of people, your favorite Studio Ghibli movie, kind of like, has anyone read a whole lot of Chuck Palahniuk books? So for a lot of people, your favorite Chuck Palahniuk book is probably the first one because you read it and you're like, that was interesting. And then you read the others like, oh, okay, I get it now. So we're we're just very diverse, very eclectic, but similar styles, similar themes, and things like that. So yeah, uh, good pick. Who haven't I picked yet? I suppose I haven't picked me yet, so good pick me, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Um, so yeah, good job, me.
I did read it was double feature with is it Grave of the Fireflies when they
Oh,
released it. And I've heard that is like a
ooh,
depressing
that's rough.
that's
That's
like
a
a
rough one.
children yeah, that's like children in war depressing. So I
Yeah,
could
that.
imagine that this would get a lot of praise in
Mhm.
that case because it's like, wow, what did we just watch? And then you watch this fun little Totoro, etc.
Uh, Graves of the Firefly
Okay.
is nightmare fuel for children. So yeah, that one's a little rough. And when you could, if that was the double feature, boy, that's no, that that's
Yeah.
that's that's not the double feature. But yeah, good pick. Dan, you got any questions for me?
What was the total take for it? I mean, it usually tells how much money the movie's made. Do you
I
know how much
got
this one made?
I got you on that. So box office for My Neighbor Totoro, $30 million worldwide, 30 million, like, and
Oh,
some change. But it only
nice.
cost $3.7 million to make.
Oh, okay. Well, nice profit then.
So it was a successful movie. Good for them.
Well, do you think that 3.7 million is just the cost mostly of the animation? Is it expensive to do that animation?
Uh, Back then, and yeah, because it was Miyazaki has resisted uh computer animation, so he still does a lot. Tries to do as much of the animation hand drawn as possible. So not only is it more expensive to do that, but it takes way more time to do that. So not quite as not as successful in the US, which at the time doesn't surprise me in the late 80s, but um, still pretty good worldwide for a movie this stature.
Okay. Thank you for those kind words about your movie.
Mhm.
All right, Mr. Malo, you are up next about my neighbor Totoro.
All right. Um, I've never seen it. Never will again. Uh, yeah, I wasn't sure of the tone, the credits. I tried to go in pretty blind. Like I saw the screenshot and okay, that's kind of interesting. This should be, you know, animation, Japanese, and clearly some form of fantasy. So we'll see where that leads us. But yeah, wasn't sure with the credits. I thought it was really cool that they had the sisters playing the sisters. That was a nice little touch. Tim Daly, I liked in pretty much everything previous. Never really like stood out as great, and I think that kind of carries through here. Frank Welker, absolutely love in
So,
everything.
so I'm going to
Yep,
call a timeout here then. I'm assuming the way you're starting in with this that you listen to the English dubbed version, not the Japanese version.
good call. Yes, sir.
Because usually, some of us have always said that we would prefer the native language of the movie, and I thought you were one of those people.
I am.
Okay,
I don't know if animation's a little different.
okay,
Um, because I think they can flub that easier. Also, it was just what went default, and I was kind of in it. I
okay.
didn't think too much about it once it got going. Um, but yeah, good call. Yeah, but just the style, classic anime, so very stylized with the emotions and the gestures, and it is its own thing. Um, and so, that's cool. Like if we're going that way, then I'm along for the ride. The soot sprites. I think it was Granny's quote. If they decide you are nice people, they won't harm you. Okay, if that isn't terrifying as shit, what if they decide otherwise,
Uh-huh.
Granny? That was interesting. I put who the heck is Granny? Where's mom? The laughing got rid of the sprites. That was a little strange. And then okay, so mom's in the hospital. We don't know why. I don't know that we ever get that explanation. I looked up the eye pulling insult, like
Oh
the
yeah,
kid, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Ankabe, uh, but basically the equivalent of like sticking out your tongue, which is also goes along with that a lot of times. It was just interesting. It was definitely a different cultural thing that I wanted to look up. So you also I shared the photo of bath time.
you did not care for
Uh,
that being on your TV, clearly.
Sorry. Yeah. So between that and the bike ride to the hospital, I wrote "Worst Dad Ever." And then not long after that, one of the next scenes is Dad at home with May while shoot, it starts with an S, but
I
sounds
can't. I cannot
the
help.
oldest daughter was at school,
Yeah.
and he promptly lost the youngest child. I said, seriously, worst dad.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's a dumb joke. Oh, thanks, teacher, for telling the whole class that my mom's in the hospital. That's great. Um, the one kid, something with it, C or a K, I guess it's a hard C sound. He's really strange. Later, he comes around and normalizes a little bit, but he doesn't speak at all when he's handing over the umbrella. And I
Right.
guess the tone is that, you know, he's a little enamored or
Hmm.
intimidated by her, and I kind of get it, but um, I don't know that he doesn't tell the mom that he lent that to the umbrella to the girls, and then when Granny was like, "Yeah, who is here?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." Like it was like it's one thing to be kind of intimidated or whatever, but then to lie for no reason or I don't know, it was just kind of strange. Um, didn't realize how long mom had been in the hospital. I guess it was basically the whole school year. I don't know if I'm right on that, but that was the vibe I got. Um, the whole the main conflict, I guess, if you're gonna give this a plot, at one point is where May is missing, There's she's running all over town and all that. And the one guy, did you find her yet? And she runs by, and I'm like, does it look like an asshole? But,
Yeah.
um, let me see. Okay, yeah, really, the last thing I had was I'm all for watching things I wouldn't normally, uh, and still hold to it, but this was not for me. I I definitely wouldn't say it was bad by any means, but I don't know. I kept waiting for something to hang on to, and I don't know. I had more questions than answers. The couple of things I wrote here at the end too. It's definitely an earworm of a song at the end. Like I stopped it after 30 seconds because I knew where this was going, and there was a good 20 minutes afterward that it was still kind
Yeah.
of there, and then it finally went away.
Matt, what does that sound like, by the way?
Tortoro, Tortoro.
No, stop it.
No? Okay.
Do we have an idea of what year this is supposed to be?
Ooh.
It's post World War II Japan. So
That's kind of what I figured, but I'm guessing like 50.
50s,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. It's still very rural and the wooden shoes and all of that. Um, I was a little worried. You guys were talking about that other film that was a double feature. When May was missing and there were calls from the doctor about mom, I thought, oh, this could get real dark real quick. And I didn't know if that was the route they were going to go. It was just kind of ready for it. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting for sure, but yeah, again, I guess the best I got is just not for me.
All right. So, Melo, do you know what the meaning of the name Totoro is?
Forest troll. I don't know. That's my best guess.
Forest troll.
Yep, you're right. It's
Oh shit!
yep. It was derived from Me's mispronunciation of Torito, which is the Japanese translation of troll.
So
Okay, well, they said troll
mispronunciation can be a
earlier,
good
and
thing.
there you go.
Sorry.
Wait, the Larson twist.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Tim?
Just mispronunciation can be a good thing.
Okay. All right. Well, keep going, Tim. You are up. You're going to
That
bring us
word
home
is,
here.
thank you. That word is pronunciation, I think. I think the word I just said isn't actually a word. Just in reflecting. Um, I would love it if, before I give my take on this, um, who seems to have enjoyed this movie the most? Melo, could you describe the physical attributes of Totoro for Dan so that he gets a better picture of it?
Sure. Kind of a large teardrop shaped fuzzy bear with large ears and kind of koala ish face, um, like Lilo and Stitch. It's got a little bit of that aspect when he opens his mouth and does some shouting and things like that. A little furry nub of a tail.
It's not bad. Not bad. He's a big
Okay.
fluffy teddy bear for sure. Um, I I don't know what to think of this movie. I don't know if I liked it or if I didn't like it. I like somebody just a couple of people have mentioned the plot, and it's very clear. This is a difficult time for the girls, coping with the fact that they can't be by their mother. The mother is sick, and they're distanced from it. It's almost like maybe the dad knows why she's sick, but the girls aren't allowed to know, and they're protecting them a little bit there, and so therefore we don't get to know. I was wondering if that's kind of the direction we're going here. Um, it bothers me that we never really get to find out. And I keep having to remind myself this is a G-rated movie, and it's kind of, I'm assuming this is for kids. I think there is. I don't want to say like it's almost like a cult movie following, or just anime as a culture that I'm just not familiar with. I know Nikki has said, my wife has said that her students who are, design type students and art type students have had drawings of Totoro and have done projects with Totoro. And so there is a social impact from this movie on a generation of kids that I don't really relate to or understand. And so there's something about it that has been cool for at least one generation of kids. And while I watch it, Melo, I'm just like you. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, let me get back to the dad. Uh, he seems very at peace and happy that they're in this rickety house that they clean up and they put all their stuff and they're making a home in. He doesn't seem very bothered that his wife is not in the house. And he doesn't do anything that's like, thank God she's not here. I'm not saying that, but he seems like he's in a pretty good mood about everything. Um, and then the girls are having these experiences, and it looks like he can tell they're experiencing um seeing or interacting with Totoro, and he's just kind of letting it happen. And he's like, "This is cool. I'm glad they're having this experience." And I feel like, and I'd love your guys' take on this, especially Dan's. If you guys felt that he had some kind of childhood experience with Totoro, and as an adult, you're just kind of not supposed to be able to have the experience with Totoro anymore because you've outgrown it, and he's enjoying watching his girls go through it. Is that the feel that you guys had?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's reading into, I don't know, it feels like it's reading in a little more than what they gave us, but
Yeah.
it makes sense because he's definitely on board. He doesn't try to dissuade. He's not one of those like, you need to grow up and give up this type. Like he's on board. He even takes them to the forest spirit shrine,
Yeah.
right, to pay homage.
Yeah.
You know,
And going along with what Matt had said about the scenery, like when May goes into that bush and there's like the tunnel made out of what seemed to be really thick bush thickets. It's the best word I can use to describe that. I that drew me in. I kind of enjoyed that part. There was something about like a kid being in a fortress or a fort and being in this place that they found that adults don't know about. Um, but it was weird that in the middle of the bushes you found a giant fucking tree that reached all the way into the sky that you couldn't see at times. There were just things about it that I didn't get. And maybe you're not supposed to get them. Maybe that's just part of the for lack of a better word, the anime culture. I don't know what genre you would put a bunch of these movies in. I know it's Team Ghibli here, but there was something about it that I thought was charming and I liked. And there was something about it that I just didn't get, and the plot didn't take me where I wanted to see the unraveling of some big adventure. Um, and some of it was just straight up weird. That Cheshire Cat, that is a cab slash bus, that is a cat slash centipede, was really fucking freaky. I'm just good. It was really weird and trippy, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The whole scene where they're there waiting for their dad, for him to get off the bus, as I watched it was really strange. But now that I reflect on it, I'm thinking, their mother's gone, their dad is late at work, they're really, really sad and bummed out, and here's, Hilty said a coping mechanism. Are they just making this stuff up? Are these imaginary friends that help them get through sitting in the rain all night waiting for the bus to get back because their life is so terrible? And if so, if it's all just made up stuff, then I kind of like it. They have imaginary friends that are helping them get through. and you're supposed to be left with this feeling that they're not imaginary friends. It's the forest troll that gets you through stuff. I don't know. I just I walk away from this thing confused. Glad I watched it. Don't know if I liked it or not, but I definitely don't think I hated it. So, um, God, I can't take this conversation any further than that because I feel like I don't get it. I feel like I'm missing out on this particular part of culture's embracing of this genre. I'm not sure I get it, but I my understanding is it's pretty big. And so I'm just sort of on the outside looking in here. Wonderful animation. I like the idea of something about these two little girls in a difficult situation having something as a crutch or something to help them by, whether it's real or imagined. I like that. I will say about the music, some of it felt American, some of it didn't feel Japanese. Some of the transitional pieces as they were doing things felt early Disney to me, like the kind of music when you're somebody's doing some work or cleaning a room. It felt like Disney. So there were Alice in Wonderland feels in this movie for me, going down into the hole in the giant tree, and the giant Cheshire cat. That's a
Hmm.
bus. Like I got Alice in Wonderland feels out of this. I just wrote down a couple of things. Uh, Totoro seems scary a couple of times in here. It's not just a big teddy bear. It's a big fucking yelling, freaking out, weird teddy bear. Where I'm thinking that little girl May probably would like the cuddliness, but maybe not so much the erratic sort of behavior. So being drawn to it was kind of a little weird for me.
Giant ass claws for fingers.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Um, why there was two little ones where one was invisible? What the hell?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the dance to make the things grow. Dan, I don't know how you felt about the dance, but I thought the choreography of the dance was a little lacking. I thought they could have done a little more, but they all caught on to it pretty good and grew a big giant tree. So, you know, there's that. There's my thoughts. I have to say at the end of this that I'm not sure whether I liked it or not, and maybe that makes it good. Maybe that's a good thing. That's what I got for you, Dan.
All right. Since you tasked me with this asking questions, I'm going to ask you what might be a difficult question. I don't really
Please do.
know. But what is the moral lesson of Totoro?
Well, I'm going to send that right back to you, Dan, and say you've heard enough about this. What do you think the moral lesson is in My Neighbor Totoro?
Well, I'm looking at the answer, at least according to Google. So,
Okay. I think I like Hilty's suggestion that what was going on with these girls is that it was something to help them get by a difficult time. And so I hope that that's what it is. And maybe just that Totoro is so big and odd. Maybe he's supposed to feel like a protector, or just that whatever is supposed to help you isn't ordinary. But that's the best guess I have. So hit me with what you came up with.
okay. Well, they go with the film imparts valuable lessons about resilience, the importance of imagination, and often forgotten connections between humans that that remind us the world can be soft and not scary.
Okay. He's definitely
That's
soft. He's a big soft
I do see a
thing.
picture of him, yeah. So that was a good Melo had a good description of him.
Nice. Does that end our thoughts on My Neighbor Totoro? Does anybody have anything else?
I had a couple so it was simple, but I really like what you said. Charming, I think is a good description of the tone. Even that, like, I don't know what's going on or why for a lot of it. I still came away from it with that. Um, and then as a dad of two daughters, I definitely liked the interaction with the daughters. I meant to say something about that.
Mm.
There was a lot of fun. It seems like the age gap is definitely bigger than my girls of 2 years, but the dynamic resonated with with our family. So I thought that was pretty good. And again, I did mention I like the fact that it was actual sisters that played them. Then the other thing, I guess mixing the magic and not, it was a weird scene where they're frustrated that the acorns aren't growing,
Yeah.
and then and what was Dad's answer? He's just like, I don't know, ask Totoro, or like he said, right, like no help. But and then they see the dance, and then there's this this whole scene and gigantic, uh I guess all these trees grow into one, and they're flying and whatever. And I'm like, so in the moment, I'm thinking, okay, so is that shit going to be there in the morning? What's going on? And then it wasn't, but they did grow, which I thought was really cool, but also left me probably with more questions than answers as well. Um, so anyway, just a couple of things I was thinking about while you guys were talking.
One thing I noticed is just watching the sister. Oh man, would I like to try and pronounce this name right? Satsuki. I'm gonna go with Satsuki.
Sounds
Um,
right.
she's running to a hospital that's like 5 towns away. May is running all. There's a lot of running, is where I'm going with this. And as we have seen several movies set in Japan, especially like the older ones, watching Seven Samurai and Yojimbo, there's a lot of people just running all over the place. And I get, we've seen movies where there aren't really cars, but I mean, they drove up in a car, and there's buses, and it's just some people are biking and running from town to town.
How that
And
kid was pedaling that bike because it was too big for him.
yeah, yeah, side
That was
saddling the
interesting.
bike. He was side
Yeah.
saddling. That was, I don't know, that was just interesting, and we've seen that a few times now, so it kind of makes me wonder the history of Japanese culture, if that is a way that was a lot of people traveled. Americans are way too lazy and creative, so they decided to create transportation so they didn't have to do that, I guess. Ride a horse and invent a vehicle instead of running. I don't know. Okay, so let's put a wrap on this movie, My Neighbor Totoro. I do have guesses from Aaron and Wilden, and I will leave this up to you guys. Would you like to hear Aaron and Wilden's guesses first, or would you like to do your guesses and then hear theirs after? Yeah, well, Dan, you were running this conversation. What are your thoughts on that?
I would like to do our guesses first and then hear
Okay.
theirs after.
I
Okay.
mean,
What's everybody think?
can we all safely assume that Aaron picked him, right?
What is this halfway? Because I think he's
Oh,
going to
that's
switch, or
right.
he's
That's right. He
still.
was going to pivot. That's true. All right, never mind. Never mind.
Okay. Well, then, Matt Smith, we will go to you first. Who is your guess for My Neighbor Totoro?
The only person who could pronounce the name, Mike Hilty.
Okay. Your guess is Mike Hilty. I like that guess. Melo, your guess on who picked the movie My Neighbor Totoro?
It's Tarantino. That's how.
My Neighbor Tarantino.
I want to see that movie.
That'd be a much different movie with a lot of like
Yeah.
feet smelling and such, and
Uh,
apple bottom cigarettes or whatever.
what's funny is when I said it in my head, I had Tortoro, John Tortoro,
Ah.
not Tarantino. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy who picked himself, Mike Hilty.
Hilty. We go another Hilty pick. I am gonna stick with my gut on this one and say he played a real good game of chess today, but he's not beating me. I think Matt picked this movie
Oh,
because he picked Spirited Away.
thought you were
And
gonna say Dan.
he picked oh yeah, Dan would have been a fun pick too. Shit, what was the other animated one you picked? Starts with an A.
Akira.
Akira. You picked Akira. I'm sticking with Matt. This is his wheelhouse here. Hilty, your pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna fall on the sword. I'm gonna pick me.
Oh man. Shit, that does not bode well for my pick at all. Uh,
Gotta, yeah. everybody's bound to get one of these right.
He's
So
playing the Aaron game right now. So
I
Dan,
know.
what is your pick for who picked this movie, knowing what just happened right in front of all of us?
Yeah, Hilty is, I don't know if he's trying to.
All right.
But
So you lose points also for people that guess you, correct?
Yeah. Well, we go to a tiebreaker. The first tiebreaker is how many times you got picked correctly.
I just remember shifting very early on from a strategy of like, I'm gonna pretend I picked everything and just see where that goes to
Mhm.
then that being the tiebreaker to go, and I want nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah. How many times did you correctly get picked is a negative for you. So you want to have the smallest
Yeah.
amount of times that you correctly got
Yeah.
picked as a tiebreaker.
Okay. Thank you.
And then after that, we go to Rotten Tomatoes for the movie that that represents you as a third tiebreaker. Dan, your pick?
I think Hilty's just messing around here. So
Oh.
I'm going with my gut, and it was Matt Smith. When he
Ooh.
first started saying that, he talking about the movie, I'm like, no, I think he's just trying to throw me off.
So
But Hilty
Dan,
might be trying to throw me off too. I don't know.
yeah, fine. Throw away your vote. Who gives a shit, right?
so Dan and I are both playing chess with Matt, and we're either winning really well or losing really badly, one or the other.
Yep.
You will be surprised to hear that Aaron did in fact pick me. I asked him if he had a guess for who picked my neighbor Totoro, and he said you, as in Tim, and then also said, to be fair, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I will before next week. So he hasn't seen the movie, but he's pretty sure that I picked it. And Mike Wilden said I will pick Matt Smith again, I guess. So his pick is also Matt. So Matt, you got some votes here. We'll see what happens. Okay, so let me look at who is supposed to lead the conversation next week and find out who is missing next week. Give me just a second here. After Matt, Mike, Aaron Lashbrook will be leading the conversation next week. The movie that we will be watching, I got this from Nikki, is 1996 with Matt Dillon and Uma Thurman. Beautiful Girls is the pick for next week. Beautiful Girls. So we will watch that and have another conversation, as we have picked many people at this point, about how this chess game is playing out. That'll do it for today. Everybody have yourselves a good week.
That will do it for today's episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you, as always, for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourselves a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.
Tortoro, Tortoro.